So I'm back to filming, yay! So let's kick things off with a vlog about, how we made a Halloween costume. So let's get started. So Halloween is about 2 weeks away or so, and online I'm seeing all these like crochet pumpkins and cute little things like that. And I don't know, I don't really make those, and October is usually the what costume am I making for Dylan for Halloween this year. So I spend most of my time planning out the costume and ordering fabric and doing things like that for that. And this year I was making one for a character called Nezuko from an anime that Dylan and I like to watch. And yeah, so this one required a special fabric that, as you can see, it's got this beautiful traditional Japanese pattern. And I could not find it here in the US, but I have a friend from Japan and she was amazing. She helped me find this and got it ordered, and yeah, so we finally got the fabric in last week, and I got to working. So I was like, yep, this weekend it's happening, and as you can see, it happened. So then it was about 8 or 9 hours and 2 pots of coffee later, we have a costume. So yeah, for those of you, whoever's interested in sewing, if you want to make a pattern like this, I have the kimono tutorial, which I give you the measurements for the actual kimono I use as the basis to make this pattern. The only difference is, as you can see, the piece that I'm cutting right now, that is the front panel. So instead of doing it as 2 separate pieces, I just added that measurement to the panel itself and created one big one, so I didn't have so many seams. But yeah, I also made an undershirt, or I guess it's an undershirt for this costume as well. So not only does the costume itself have it, but it's part of the kimono Anyway, if you've seen a photo of a kimono, you would have seen an undershirt. So I made one. I used the same process I did for the kimono, only this one I made it a lot smaller. So I made it using the kid's actual measurements. So instead of making it like 16 inches across, where my child only measures 13 across the shoulders, I actually used the 13 inches for the undershirt. And then I modified the sleeves. And this is for several reasons. First of all, the costume itself has a lot of parts. So she has the undershirt, the kimono top, and then the howdy, which is the black jacket on top. And I live in a tropical climate. This is for a kid. She's going to be running around the playground, and she's going to also wear it to the dojo. So, I don't really want her to die of heat stroke. So it's like, okay, let's at least modify the sleeves. They're also less cumbersome when she wears the costume than the traditional kimono sleeves that you saw in the gray one. So a note for the stitching, I started with the shoulder seams, and then I added the trim for the sleeve, as you can see here. And then at the end I went through and I did the sides. So that's kind of the order in which I stitched it in. Then I had Dylan try it and I modified the neckline. I ended up removing about 1.5 inches around the collar of the robe. If I were to do this again, I would not have done that for the back of the neck. As you can see here, there's 1.5 inches that going all the way around. I would have only gone with maybe about 0.5 inch instead. But yeah, you live and learn. And then to finish this off, I worked on the trimming. So the trim I did have to move several times. This here is the final pin, but I had to modify it several times as I added the white part of the trimming. So I did the whole front part, or the whole top part of the robe, and then at the very end I did the bottom. It's just that little white section that you see right here. That one I had to do first, and then I could pin the top pink part just to cover it. So when I fold it here, you can kind of see. I kind of wish I would have smoothed out that point a little bit more, but I'll do that on the next one, I guess. Then I moved on to the obi. Now for the obi, this one's kind of a, cut and dry process. It's very similar to what I did with the obi in the kimono video, but I only had the one layer of fabric and then just that little green strip. I ran out of interfacing because I also used it for the bow, but I used the interfacing just to kind of keep the raw edges from poking out while I found some piece of linen or something to stitch onto the back. So I'll eventually have to go back and add that, but for now, the interfacing will at least hold for a little bit. It also adds a little bit of stability and just some sturdiness to the obi. And then with the last remaining little green piece of the fabric, I made a bow. And then this one I just stitched together the 2 raw ends and pinched it together with a ribbon. And that way I can use that same ribbon to attach the bow to the obi. So here are most of the components that I had already made for the costume. The only thing that I made that it's not in the photo is the hair piece. And she has a little bow on her hair. And then the howdy, which is the black jacket. You'll see it in a later photo though. So here's the costume, or the under part of the costume. It is a little bit bigger so that Dylan can grow into it. I mean, the kid's 7, so she's got a lot of growing to do. And she wears her costumes a lot, so yeah. But there it is. Here's the finished product with the howdy and the hairpiece. Now I just have to, do her nails and paint her hair pink on Halloween. So that'll be another adventure. And Dylan wants to go trick-or-treating, and I guess some of our friends from the dojo we're trying to coordinate. And yeah, so I got the fabric to make Tanjiro's costume. Tanjiro's this character that I'm going to put here on the screen. That's Nezuko's brother, which is what Dylan's dressed up as. But you can't really have one without the other. And yeah, so guess I'll be dressing up as Tanjiro. And yeah, bonus, it gives me an excuse to buy the sword I've been eyeballing. So that'll be exciting. But yeah, so thanks for watching. I know this was not a crochet thing, and we just kind of sat around I sat around and talked for like, I don't know, 6-7 minutes. But yeah, I'm going to be posting tons of crochet videos here this week because I got a lot of catching up to do. So keep an eye out for those. And yeah, thank you so much. I'll see you soon.